when you played it in a jukebox in like the pubs in England,
it hit you over the head.
Every time our song come on, it was louder than any other song that was on the jukebox. So it just was about 10 times louder than everything else. And you know, when you're a bit, you know, when you're steaming and you had a drink and that, you know what I mean? You don't want to be like, it just blew everyone's head off in the pubs.
Most albums become safe over time. They turn into history, into comfort. But definitely maybe never did. It still feels loud, it still feels alive, it still feels slightly off the rails. And that's why it still feels dangerous. Whenever you listen to Definitely Maybe, it still feels like it's happening. Not like history, but it's like something in motion that hasn't finished yet. And that's why it still feels dangerous, because it refuses to be forgotten. Rock and Roll Star doesn't begin so much as it breaks in and kicks the door off of its hinges. The intro feels less like a recording and more like something just forcing its way out of a small environment into something much bigger. And underneath it all is that voice. Young, certain, completely unfiltered. Liam Gallagher is a kid singing into a hairbrush, fully convinced the world is about to recognise him. There's no irony in it, there's no distance, just belief. And that's what still makes it feel so electric now, because it's not self-aware. It just is.
Best band about today on the planet. It's a fact.
Bring It On Down, of course, sounds like the Sex Pistols, but it doesn't sound like they're just borrowing from them. It feels like that era is being reactivated. Stripped down aggression, just noise and intent. Cigarettes and Alcohol is where the album starts speaking for something wider. Not just ambition, but exhaustion. This feels like a generation looking at their life and deciding not to dress it up. There's no grand escape plan in it, no fancy of reinvention, just a blunt acceptance delivered with a grin.
Not glorifying drinking or smoking, it's a feeling that you get when you're on the dole and you've got no money, maybe to escape from your surroundings, that maybe all you have is cigarettes and alcohol, and that's all that matters.
It doesn't say life is good, it says this is what it is, and we're still going to make something out of it anyway. That's why it hits so hard. People listening to it felt genuinely recognised and understood for where they were in their lives. Live Forever is the emotional centre of the album. It's life-affirming, but not in a naive way. It doesn't deny difficulty, it just refuses to let meaning disappear inside it. There's a strange balance in it. Innocence and optimism, but not ignorance. Hope, but not escape. It feels like someone standing in the middle of something chaotic and still choosing to believe in something beyond it. And that's what makes it last. It's positivity with conviction. It's real. Perhaps the most famous song is Supersonic. And it doesn't really sit in the same category as anything else. It just exists. It's one of those songs that feels like it's operating on instinct.
And we'd all stick it on. And it's the only time we've actually given something away to mix and not been involved in any of the mixing. And he sent it back and we were just going, fucking that's it. That's it. Yeah. Who is he? You know. Subsequently found out as well, so it was a bit of a disappointment.
Liam Gallagher sounds like he's somewhere between John Lennon's melodic confidence and Johnny Rotten's sneer. But it doesn't feel like an imitation of either of them. It feels like a collision of them. The whole thing moves like it's slightly out of control, held together by attitude rather than structure. It just sounds like the coolest thing that could possibly exist at that moment in time.
Right, in this country in particular, that when people were going to buy Morning Glory, they didn't buy Definitely Maybe. And I'd just like to say, where do you fucking get off on that? Well, you know, when you go to HMV to buy a copy of Morning Glory, you don't buy Definitely Maybe. What's that all about? You know, do you just do it to piss me off?
When you zoom out, you realise the album isn't influenced by rock history, it absorbs it. You can hear fragments of the Beatles in the melodic confidence, the Rolling Stones in the swagger, the Who in the scale of ambition, and the Sex Pistols in the refusal to soften. But it doesn't treat these as references, it fuses them. It melts them down into something that feels like it might explode at any moment. There's tension with all these ingredients. It's like it's one step away from collapsing under its own confidence. There's uncertainty. But that's exactly what gives it its energy. There was a time when music like this didn't divide people, it united them. Even if people didn't agree on it, they felt it. There was a shared cultural current running through it, something loud enough that it became part of the atmosphere of the country itself. And that's harder to find now. Modern music feels more cautious, more aware of limitations, more involved with opinion and interpretation and less shared experience. And that does change how rock music lands. It becomes harder for something to break through with that same collective spirit and high voltage. And that's why Oasis still matter in moments like their reunion, because it isn't just nostalgia, it's a recognition of something that once felt like it belonged to everyone, even if only for a short time. So does that mean UK rock is finished? Probably not. Nothing like this disappears completely. It just becomes dormant. Because culture doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in cycles. What feels impossible in one era becomes inevitable in another. But it does mean something has changed. The conditions that allowed Definitely Maybe to explode into existence don't feel as easy to replicate now. Not gone, just harder to accidentally stumble into. And maybe that's why the album still feels dangerous, because it doesn't behave like something finished. It still behaves to this day like something arriving. And pressing play on it now doesn't just take you back to a moment in time. It brings you to a moment when music felt like it could still open everything up at once. And just for a few minutes, Definitely Maybe still can.